Hello, I'm Sneha Koshi. Let's take you through all the top stories of the day. A new report by an American forensic firm shows that multiple incriminating documents were planted in the computer of Father Stan Swamy, the 83-year-old activist priest who was arrested for alleged terror rings in 2020 and who died in custody a year later. The report blasts a hole in the National Investigation Agency's charges against Stan Swamy. NDTV accesses the exclusive report.
And now for an NDTV breaking exclusive. In July last year, Father Stan Swamy, the activist priest who was arrested for alleged terror links, died of deteriorating health while in custody, sparking local and global condemnation. The National Investigating Agency, though, which was probing Swamy in the Bhima Koregoan case, was adamant of the charges against him. They said it centered around letters between the priest and supposed Maoist leaders. But now a new report by an American forensic firm accessed exclusively by NDTV raises serious questions over those charges, which finds that scores of so-called Maoist documents were planted on the computer of Father Stan Swamy by an unknown attacker. Arsenal Consulting is the name of the Boston-based forensic outfit which was hired by Swamy's lawyers. Most serious cases of evidence tampering that Arsenal has ever encountered, they say in their report. The report says that Swamy's computer had been compromised by a hacker for close to 5 years, during which close to 44 documents were planted in a secret folder on his hard drive. Significantly, the report finds that the attacker made frantic attempts to erase traces of his presence the night before Stan Swamy was raided. My colleague Mariam Alavi joins me with more details of this breaking exclusive. Mariam, thanks very much indeed for joining us. This is the latest report, remember, by Arsenal Consulting. They've done reports in 2 other cases of those accused in the Bhima Koregoan case, in Rona Wilson case and Surendra Gadling's case, where they found a similar pattern of hacking, surveillance and planting. But in this one, Mariam, I think what's significant is the number of documents that they claim to have found was planted on this device.
Yes, so as you mentioned, this report by Arsenal Consulting shows that Father Stan Swamy's computer was compromised for almost 5 years and a large number of documents were delivered on his system. What we're going to be seeing on screen now is a list of those documents. It's a long list of document after document. We have said there were 44 files planted on Father Stan Swamy's system. This is much higher than what was planted and what was found to be planted on the systems of other accused in the Bhima Koregoan case. We were told about 30 documents were planted on Rona Wilson's computer, about 14 incriminating letters were planted on Surendra Gadling's computer. This is much more than that. 44 documents planted on Father Stan Swamy's computer. These included those incriminating Maoist-linked documents that have become central to the NIA's case. But what is more interesting here, Vasu, is that this report also goes on to say that they found no evidence to suggest that Father Stan Swamy ever interacted with or even ever opened these files. This bolsters Father Stan Swamy's claims, repeated claims, that he had nothing to do with those Maoist-linked documents that were found on his system.
Right, and also interestingly, the report and also from Arsenal, we've got examples of the kind of letters that were planted on, or supposedly planted according to Arsenal, on this device. Because remember, some of these letters were part of the charge sheet by the NIA against Stan Swamy. But these, as Arsenal says, were planted.
Yes, so we've been given access to 2 such documents that were planted on Father Stan Swamy's system. The first is this letter sent by an SS presumed to be Father Stan Swamy to a Vijayan Dada in October 2017. This letter talks about Father Stan Swamy's work with the tribals in Jharkhand and also mentions an anti-conversion law that has come up in the state and goes on to say, on the ground level, there must be some action from your side to capture senior leaders of ruling BJP in the state and demand that the oppressive laws be done with. Now, this letter is part of the police's, the investigative agency's charge sheet against Father Stan Swamy. But Arsenal Consulting has found that this was planted. The second such document that was found, that was shared with us, is this table which is supposed to show the strength of the People's Liberation Guerrilla Army in different parts of the country. The People's Liberation Guerrilla Army is in fact is supposed to be the armed unit of the banned Maoist party in India. Again, this is part of the investigative agency's case against the priest, but Arsenal says that this was planted on his computer.
And moving on, in a statement in both houses, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said the Indian soldiers prevented the Chinese from making a land grab in Arunachal Pradesh and compelled the Chinese troops to return to their posts. No soldier was killed or seriously injured in the clash between Indian and Chinese troops. China has made a bizarre statement though. China has claimed that troops were obstructed by the Indian army who illegally crossed the line of actual control, according to PLA spokesperson to AFP.
The clashes which took place between Indian and Chinese soldiers in the Tawang sector of Arunachal Pradesh are quite out of the ordinary. While skirmishes have taken place even after the Galwan incident, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in a statement in Parliament made it clear that this was a unilateral effort by the Chinese to change the status of the line of actual control in Arunachal Pradesh, in that area. In simple terms, this means that the Chinese were trying to grab Indian territory. And what has happened is that India has prevented that from taking place. This was a Chinese land grab which Indian soldiers prevented. There were clashes, fierce clashes. There was stone pelting which I believe took place. Batons were used possibly by both sides. But about the larger number of Chinese soldiers who may have been deployed, the army at this juncture don't want to get into numbers. Whether or not tasers and the like were used by the Chinese soldiers, again, they don't want to get into that. And there is no clarity on the number of Indian soldiers who may have been involved, other than what the defense minister has said in Parliament. There have been a few injuries, but that these are not categorized as serious. Be that as it may, that situation along the line of actual control, also known as the McMahon line in Arunachal Pradesh, remains tense, not least also because of the enhanced or the increased Chinese Air Force activity on their side. In the last couple of weeks, China has been deploying aircraft very close to the line of actual control. The Indian Air Force has had to scramble their fighters, presumably from bases in Assam, to be in a position to intercept those. And what we've learned is that the Indian Air Force is flying combat air patrols. In other words, for several hours a day, our jets are already up in the skies and are prepared for any possible Chinese intrusion should it come. Hopefully that would never be the case, but overall the situation in the eastern part of our boundary hotting up. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
And as Parliament was adjourned after the opposition insisted on a discussion on India-China border clash of December 9 that came to light this week, which was rejected by the Speaker, Union Home Minister Amit Shah alleged that the Congress protest had another reason.
Please, माने सदस्य जो घटना के बाद अरे अधीर भाई थोड़ा सुनो.
Opposition protests in Parliament demanding answers to the latest Chinese aggression. This time in Tawang last Friday, the government acknowledged what it called the sentiment of the House.
Looking at the gravity of the situation,
While exact details of the clash have not been stated, there have been no fatalities nor serious casualties on the Indian side. The Defence Minister told this to Parliament. Some of those injured were flown to this hospital in Guwahati. Mr. Rajnath Singh says China tried to unilaterally change the status quo. In simpler terms, that would mean an attempted land grab by China, which has been repulsed by Indian soldiers.
9 दिसंबर 2022 को PLA ट्रुप्स ने तवांग सेक्टर के यांगसे एरिया में लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल पर अतिक्रमण कर स्टेटस को एक तरफा बदलने का प्रयास किया. चाइना के इस प्रयास का हमारी सेना ने दृढ़ता के साथ सामना किया है अध्यक्ष महोदय, और इस फेस ऑफ में हाथापाई भी हुई है. भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से PLA को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय, इस झड़प में दोनों ओर के कुछ सैनिकों को चोटें भी आई हैं और मैं इस सदन को अवगत कराना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ है.
However, immediately after the defense minister's statement, the speaker and the chairperson rejected the opposition's demand for a discussion, saying House procedures do not permit discussions on statements. The opposition protested and walked out.
हम उसमें क्या कमियां हैं और हमारे पास जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो शेयर करना चाहते थे लेकिन उन्होंने छोड़ दिया.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, before making a statement in the Parliament, convened a high-level meeting with Chief of Defence Staff, 3 chiefs, and also with the Minister of External Affairs to take stock of the situation. Government sources say that the government has decided to raise this issue with the Chinese side through diplomatic channels also.
In a terse comment, Chinese Foreign Ministry has described the border situation as generally stable, claiming the two sides have maintained a smooth communication on the border issues through diplomatic and military channels. This is the first fierce clash after Galwan, which occurred in June 2020. And in the face of almost every major opposition party demanding discussion on the issue adjourning all other businesses, the Home Minister turned his focus to attacking the Congress and its past governments and the past China policy. Mr. Shah alleged that the reason why Congress disrupted the question hour in Lok Sabha was because of Chinese funds given to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation over 15 years ago.
कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-7 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1.35 करोड़ रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ था.
The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation donation is not the cause of the Chinese intrusion in Arunachal Pradesh.
Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that due to timely intervention of Indian military commanders, the Chinese troops went back to their locations. And also in the flag meeting, the Chinese side has been asked to refrain from such actions and also to maintain peace and tranquility along the border. With camera person Pawan Tiwari, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Well, and now after Indigo, actually Air India has gone ahead and given out advisory for passengers who may be travelling or reaching Delhi airport. Well, it says, just like Indigo, arrive at Delhi airport, reach it 3.5 hours earlier for domestic and around 4 hours early for international flights. And one more, carry only one piece of baggage for check-in for a seamless travel. These advisories, of course, coming after the long queues that have been seen at Delhi airports, with several people tweeting their tragic delay at the airport, long hours of wait. Very ironical, just the fact it's reality and not any sitcom drama unfolding. And meanwhile, the minister, the aviation ministry has gone ahead and alleged that there have been several counters that have been unmanned during early mornings, or they also have been inadequately manned at some airports, and that airlines must deploy sufficient manpower, and airlines should give real-time data on social media feeds with respect to the waiting time at entry gates. Supreme Court Collegium has recommended the names of 5 High Court judges for elevation after the government thumbs down on its last list. The fresh list includes judges from Bihar, Rajasthan, Manipur and Uttar Pradesh. Last month, the names of 10 judges recommended for elevation by the Collegium did not receive a go-ahead from the central government. Sources said some names reiterated by the Collegium were also returned. It's time for a short break. Welcome back. And just the tragic reality of what seems to be happening again and again in what seems to be the quota coaching institutions, or as some may actually say, the coaching stress factories. 3 more students have died by suicide. Harshak reports right from ground zero on what is happening behind the scenes.
A father breaks down at the mortuary in Kota as he stands outside to identify the body of his 16-year-old son who was preparing for the IIT exams. The child committed suicide in his hostel room. His father, a contractor from Bihar's Gaya, says he always told his son he could come home if he couldn't cope with the pressure.
अगर मन नहीं लगता है तो खर्चा होने से मतलब नहीं है, हमारे घर पर वेलकम तुम्हारा रहेगा, जिस दिन आ जाओगे उस दिन कोई दिक्कत नहीं रहेगी.
But clearly that was not an option Ujjwal decided to take. Not one but 3 suicides have rocked Kota city. Ankush, a 17-year-old boy whose mother is a school teacher and father also a contractor. And Pranav from Shivpuri in Madhya Pradesh, his family runs a small sanitary business. Children from small towns here to fulfill dreams of cracking the IIT exams and making it through medical school. At this hostel where 2 boys committed suicide a few hours apart, a sense of shock and disbelief, even panic.
कल तो देख के मेरा भी मतलब कांपने लगा.
हाँ,
एक माँ के हिसाब से सोच रहे थे ना कि एक माँ कैसे अपने बच्चे को, कल का स्थिति आप देखते तो आपको भी अगर माँ है तो आपको भी रोना आ जाता.
मेरे बच्चे भी तो उसी एज के हैं, मेरे बच्चे भी तो इसी एज के हैं.
उसको देख के मैं इतना घबरा गई थी कि अपने बच्चे को क्या संभालती, मैं खुद भी अपने आप को नहीं संभाल पा रही थी.
टाइम टेबल को जैसे मतलब मैनेज नहीं कर पाते हैं, ज़्यादा देर सो लेते हैं तो नहीं हो पाता है.
अच्छा, ज़्यादा देर सो जाते हो तो फिर वो टाइम टेबल आउट ऑफ हैंड चला जाता है.
हाँ, तो हम लोग का वही है, क्वेश्चन ज़्यादा नहीं लग पाता है और ये टाइम टेबल मैनेजमेंट 1 घंटा ज़्यादा सो लिए तो फिर आगे का फिर कैसे करें.
The stress is exacting, the competition cutthroat, and away from home, these children as young as 16 and 17 are vulnerable.
अकेलापन मतलब कोई दोस्त सब अलग अलग जगह से, कोई अपना मतलब आदमी नहीं, माँ बाप, तो अकेलापन तो होगा.
It's clearly this loneliness that kills that has left the administration groping for answers. The administration has called for a high-level meeting to address the issue.
इस बार जब से कोविड का दौर समाप्त हुआ तो एकदम से बूम आया और कम से कम 2-2.5 लाख बच्चे हैं जो एक तरह की फ्लोटिंग पॉपुलेशन है. यहाँ पर अभी कोई ऐसा हॉस्टल नहीं है जो खाली हो.
Kota has a population of nearly 2.5 lakh students. Hostels and paying guest accommodations have mushroomed across the city, unregulated, unstructured, a way to make a quick buck.
मैम, अकेलापन का मतलब पढ़ाई तो सही है लेकिन यहाँ थोड़ा ज़्यादा माहौल सही नहीं रहता है. बच्चों को मतलब तुम उतना पढ़ रहे हो तो हम इतना पढ़ेंगे.
Kota, where nearly 2.5 lakh children come each year with dreams in their eyes. Dreams of either making it through medical college or cracking the IITG exams. The schedule and timetable is exacting. Students study for nearly 15 to 16 hours each day. And if 1 hour is spent on extra sleep or having some fun, it can throw their schedule out of gear. And then the examination, cutthroat competition. Of the 10 lakh students who give the IIT exams, only 16,000 plus make it to the top IITs in the country. And in this rat race, some of course make it, but some tragically drop out. With cameraman Xavier Thomas in Kota, Harsha Kumari Singh for NDTV.
And in another story, an actor, producer, distributor and now an MLA, Udayanidhi Stalin at the age of 45 is all set to become Tamil Nadu's sports minister in his chief minister father M.K. Stalin's cabinet. And opposition isn't taking this lying.
Udayanidhi Stalin on the campaign trail in the Chennai constituency he fought and won from in the 2021 Tamil Nadu elections. Now, a year later, Udayanidhi set to become a minister in his father's cabinet. The rise of a new generation of the Karunanidhi dynasty, which already has a pervasive presence in Tamil Nadu politics across 4 generations. When we spoke to him in August, ahead of the Chess Olympiad grand finale he coordinated, he defended charges of dynastic capture.
How would you react to the criticism that you are part of the dynastic politics just because you are son of Mr. Stalin?
Let the people of Chepaktre decide that.
Until now, Uday, as is known, has stayed away from active politics. Known more for running Red Giant Movies, one of Tamil film industry's biggest production houses, producing smash hits like Kurubi, Athuban and Manmadan Anbu.
Many have pointed to how Udayanidhi's father, M.K. Stalin, was made to wait much longer
for a ministerial berth at the age of 53. Udayanidhi's supporters argue he has the experience to earn the ministerial berth, enrolling around 25 lakh youngsters in the DMK's youth wing. But the leader of the opposition was critical of the move.
ஏற்கனவே எல்லா துறையிலும் ஊழல் நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இவர் வந்தால் அந்த ஊழலுக்கெல்லாம் தலைவராக இருந்து செயல்படுவார். அது ஒண்ணுதான் நடக்கும். வேற என்ன நடக்க போகுது? ஆக குடும்ப ஆட்சிக்கு முடிவு கட்ட வேண்டும்.
Udayanidhi's elevation is a clear signal that he is number 2 after MK Stalin, while Kanimozhi is a deputy general secretary in the party, the face at Delhi. The big question, will the cadre accept this superseding? In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
And China on Tuesday has advised its citizens in Afghanistan to leave the country as soon as possible following a coordinated attack by Islamic State militants the previous day on a Chinese-owned hotel in the heart of Kabul.
鉴于阿富汗当前的安全形势，外交部再次提醒在阿中国公民和机构尽快自阿转移撤离，向驻阿使馆报备本人身份信息，同时加强安全防范和应急准备，遇突发事件第一时间与驻阿使馆联系。